Hi everybody. Here is an interesting question that somebody said in a comment, and thank you everybody that is commenting on my stuff. Interesting, and I am going to answer this honestly because I am an honest person, and in my opinion, that's half the problem in this world. People are afraid to be honest, and people care more about what other people think. First of all, and here's what it says: I hope you're happy in yourself. Well, yes, I'm happy with myself, but in other ways, I'm not happy with myself. I'm happy with myself because despite everything I'm dealing with, I haven't quit my job, I haven't given up on life, I haven't given up on God, I haven't given up on my dreams. So, yes, I'm happy with myself. But I'm not happy because there's one hurdle I want to get over to truly, well, there's a lot of things to be truly happy, but this is one goal that I didn't meet a deadline for. And in my opinion, you don't fail at something if you don't succeed the first time. You fail when you give up on it. So if you keep trying, then you sort of haven't failed because you didn't give up on it. And that is to get my driver's license. Despite that my mother won't teach me because she's overprotective, and when I was 5, the doctor told her never to let me drive because I had ADHD and have a problem focusing. But in my opinion, it's not about her. It's about me. You have to do what you want to do despite what anybody else says. Unless God tells you not to do it and you believe in God. Which I really hope you do, because I'm not trying to shove religious down you guys' throat for real. I'm just telling you what God's done in my life, and you can choose not to believe in Him, or you can choose not to believe in. I'm not going to hate you either way, because that's not being a good Christian if you don't like somebody just because they don't believe in the belief that you believe in. So if there's an atheist out there that wants to tell me about being an atheist, I would listen to the opinion. It's not going to change my view, and I might not change your view, but I respect what you're saying. But the reason I haven't given up on stuff is because God. That is the only reason I am alive today. Yes, the medicine helped, but the reason I never went through my plan was because I knew God had a plan. I knew God was going to put the right people in my life. And I knew at some point that those people were going to be taken out of my life. Or those people are going to walk out of my life and maybe come back later. The first person that God brought in my life, I've always gone through depression, but there's certain events that have made me depressed, and then it just all bottles up. And yes, I talk about my problems, because that helps me, is to vent to people, even strangers, like you guys. That's what makes me feel better. And venting to God, too. So, yeah. Anyways. So, am I happy with myself? Yes. But there's certain goals that I want to do first. And I really need to stop letting what my mother says bother me. And it's not going to keep me from trying to reach my dreams. So, yes. Now, when I was first going through depression, I can remember it was about And I don't know really the timelines of stuff, so I might be telling a story to be truthful, but I don't mean a story like what I'm saying is a lie. I mean like the timeline might be. Like when I say 3 years, it might not really be 3 years. I'm just estimating. So I think it was about 3 years ago, I was depressed because of my past, and there was a guy named James that entered my life. Through my friend Julia, who, by the way, we made amends, and I know I keep saying I'm not going to be a friend, then I am going to be a friend. But you know what? If God can forgive mortals, and God can forgive other people, I can forgive other people, even though I'm not God, but that is God's motto. Do unto others as you want to be treated, and I would want somebody to forgive me. So, anyways, she brought James. And, yeah, he did bad stuff, like hit walls because he had anger issues. But you know what? He got me out of depression. He was there for me. Even after Julia and James broke up. So that was the first person. Then, the second person was probably about 2 years ago or a year ago. It was my boss. Well, the person that used to be my boss, it was Chris. And then it was about a year ago. It was Will, my old trainer. And now it is Natasha, my boss now, and Spencer that is helping me through this, and Sandy, and Joanne, and Lisa, and people from my church now, and people on YouTube. But the main two people is my boss, Natasha, Spencer, and God. So, there's people God brings in your life to help you through the hard times. And Spencer is possibly going to be leaving in August. And Will is not there for me that much. And then James has a job, so James isn't really there for me. But you know what? The Lord is there for me, and everybody else is there. But you other people cannot make you happy. You don't have to, but to be truly happy, you have to do your passion. You have to do what you want, and you have to not worry about what other people think about it. And you have to make sure that it's God's will, not your own will. And when I mean you have to, that's the only word that I can think right now. I'm not saying you have to believe in God and you have to do your passions to be happy. True happiness comes from doing what you love to do, is what I mean, to me. And true happiness comes from trying to be better than you were yesterday. That's what true happiness comes. Happiness comes from what's inside. And be accountable for your own actions. I can't blame my feelings because 2 people in my family are dying of cancer. It contributed to it, but it's ultimately my responsibility to reach my full potential with God. And it's my responsibility to learn that it is okay. that he is dying. It's going to take time, and it is okay that my uncle is dying. I have to accept it and be okay with it. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to have hard times dealing with it. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be sad. It just means that I am not going to give up on my dream. I'm not going to lose who I am because of it. And I'm not going to let my mother, overprotective, stop me from doing what I want. And here is what the world says. The world. Do not let your heart be troubled. Trust in the Lord. Trust always in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it is, will not so, I will have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you. That means God doesn't reject you. God loves you. God has a place in heaven for you. All you have to do is ask Him in your heart. Believe in the cross and have a relationship with Him. In my opinion, that is where true happiness comes. When you believe beyond something of yourself. And when you broaden your surroundings. When I mean broaden your surroundings, that means you be friends with people that you don't think you will get along with. You be a friend with an atheist if you're a Christian. And if you're an atheist, be a friend with a Christian. That means accepting somebody's flaws. Accepting them for who they are. And don't try to change them for your wants or your needs. And yeah, I get angry at people. Just like everybody else does. But nobody else can make you angry. Unless you choose for that person to make you angry. It's all about accountability. You can't let something bother you unless you let it. And it might bother you, but don't give up. And don't give up on that person just because they're not what you want them to be. And acknowledge the good. Okay, like this. My friend James hit my wall because he was angry at Julia. Does that discount that he helped me out with depression? No. Will is always busy and kind of manipulated me by telling me he loves me as a friend and then now doesn't speak to me because I'm not paying him as a trainer anymore and he's busy. Does that discount the fact that he gave me the self-confidence or helped me gain confidence to weightlift, to go into the weight room at my gym when I was afraid to? And I was afraid to talk to people in the weight room. And now I'm like acquaintances with some of these people? No. Does it discount the fact that the people now in my life are going to contribute to me being angry? No. So you have to outweigh the bad that people do and give them credibility for the good they do. That doesn't mean what they did doesn't hurt. It just means to try to think of the good people do. And everybody in my church, thank you. And everybody, thank you for listening. Who has? And never stop being who you are. And smartness. You can be smart in other ways. Just because you're not book smart doesn't mean you're not smart worldly wise. Doesn't mean you're not smart in God's world. God gives you some kind of gift. And just because you vent to people doesn't mean you're not mature. It shows courage because you're not afraid to step outside what the world says to do. Courage comes from being different to me. And yeah, people have different opinions about stuff. Does that mean my opinion's wrong? No, people don't always think like you. And that's the beauty of the world. Accept, embrace people's difference. So do I love myself? No, I don't, in a way. You know why? Because God loves me more than myself. So I love God. And that's how it should be. You lose yourself and give it to God. If you guys understand. If you don't understand, then I'm sorry. But you'll understand one day if you don't understand. So, the answer is no. I do not love myself because God loves me. And I love God. Bye!